Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing well-defined policies and balancing that against, in my opinion, concerns regarding colonization. What are we talking about here? I thought of making this video after reading a recent article from the Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com. Article is titled, Foreign Investors Seeking Clear Policies Amid Volatility. On the one hand, let me just preface, I do get where foreigners can be uneasy about dealing with things, making investments in Thailand, looking to do business here because they're uneasy about the Thai legal system and the way things work here. My response to that has gotten to be over the years, look, other jurisdictions can be just as arbitrary and capricious in many ways. I mean, frankly, I've got serious issues with a lot of things that have happened in the U.S. legal system, especially since the first Trump term. And let me be clear, I'm not blaming Mr. Trump, but in response to him, many things have, the whole Cohen thing in the first term and attorney-client privilege is just one example, or the that Supreme Court justice whose name is escaping me off the top of that whole thing in that first term. Really, there was a lot of disregarding of basic legal philosophies, and they were just sort of, I'm not saying completely thrown out, but it was concerning. The point I'm trying to make is, yes, I get foreigners' concerns here in Thailand, but I am saying if you were to look at your own country from an outsider's perspective, there are aspects of your own country that could be viewed as arbitrary and capricious as well, is the point I'm trying to make. That said, quoting directly, foreign investors would like to see clear and well-defined policies as they have continued to offload Thai equities for a third consecutive year, with cumulative net sales exceeding 400 billion baht, said the Stock Exchange of Thailand, SET. Well, one thing to also point out is, quite honestly, the West is not in good shape economically. And as we saw, which one phenomenon that I just can think of off the top of my head, the sort of Tesco Lotus unwinding. I remember reading about that at the time, and they were talking about how it was advantageous for Tesco to sell off their interests because they were leveraged in some other jurisdiction and they needed the money, and they had done well in Thailand, and so they were selling off to basically recoup gains to use to pay off, other things. It's sort of the same phenomenon that will happen with gold. When you see economic volatility, gold will sometimes initially go down, even though gold bugs, it's counterintuitive to them because they're like, well, gold's a safe haven asset. Why would you do that? Well, it's because people are selling gold positions in order to pay off margins and things like that, pay off margin calls. The point I'm trying to make is this may not all be blamable on Thailand and Thai policies. There could be things happening abroad where they're selling otherwise good assets here in Thailand in order to get liquidity, in order to pay off debts elsewhere where they're struggling. It's important, I think, to keep kind of that in the back of your mind. That said, quoting further, during a recent roadshow in Singapore, SET President Asadet Khongsiri said regional institutional investors had expressed their desires concerning greater policy continuity, particularly regarding large-scale infrastructure investments and national development plans such as the Land Bridge project. Regional institutional investors. You mean like these huge hedge funds, BlackRocks and these kind of things, and they're sort of owned by, in these kind, Ian Carroll does a really good job over on Twitter getting into like BlackRock and, Merrill and all these things and who owns them, and then when you do a deep dive of it, it's like they all own each other, and it's sort of this ever-continuing feedback loop, and it's all about, you can get into the history of this stuff of interlocking directorships and this kind of thing. It concerns me because this is the modus operandi, if you will, of the new colonial class. And anytime I see Thailand being put in the sort of crosshairs of colonization, it gets my hackles up. Okay, now you can say I'm hyperbolic if you want, but I don't think that the past is borne out that I'm hyperbolic. If anything, it's kind of the opposite. That said, quoting further, he added that many investors also support revising foreign ownership limits in key sectors such as tourism, hospitality, and banking to attract more long-term capital. Yeah, let's just sell ourselves down the river so they'll be happy. You know, again, I don't mean to be overly hyperbolic, but yeah, Thailand has, for good reason, protected their local industries. And frankly, I don't really see, for example, the tourism sector. Where is Thailand going to benefit by allowing in a bunch of foreign influence in the, or foreign ownership in the tourism sector? Hospitality, okay, maybe I can see that, except that sounds like a buzzword, if you will, for we want to own hotels, which that gets into land ownership, which that's, again, I'm a naturalized Thai, tend to agree with the Thai philosophy that we don't want foreigners owning land. Maybe that's not what they're talking about, but it kind of sounds like. And then banking, because yeah, foreign bankers, that's what you want in a solid, stable nation state. Boy, they've done a heck of a job, haven't they? Especially low these past 50 years in the aftermath of Nixon temporarily shutting down the gold window. You know, if you have any doubts about the efficiency or efficacy of foreign bankers in basically interacting with the body politic, I mean, just look at the past 5 years, 6 years, and World Economic Forum and COVID nonsense, and we all got to shut down and be tracked and traced and have vaccine passports, and we get to tell you what to do, and you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. It doesn't lead anywhere particularly good. I do understand the reasonable desire on the part of outside investors for clarity and some level of legal stability. But that said, we should not, I think, go too far in Thailand and basically sell ourselves short to what amounts to outside colonizers.